Good evening and welcome to our latest installment of the S Mag Beauty Talks. My name is Thembalihle Zulu, and tonight I have the great honor of speaking to some of the leading names in the hair care game. But before we get started, if you're joining us again, welcome back. We love having you. If you're joining us for the first time, hello, and we're so glad to have you here. Tonight's webinar is in partnership with one of the leading hair care brands, Dark and Lovely, and we're so excited to have them on board. Now, onto the business of the evening, hair care. Now, let's face it, months of lockdown have forced us to be creative with our hair and how we look after it. But how many of us actually 100% are 100% confident that we know what we're doing when it comes to DIY hair care? So even though I can't see you, I'm sure a few hands went up at home, which is why tonight is so important. Lucky for you, you have joined S Mag in partnership with Dark and Lovely as we talk to the pros about all things hair and what pros they are. Joining us is Hansen Daveni, who is the National Field and Education Manager for Dark and Lovely. We also have two walking hair girls with us, Minky Motavela, YouTuber, social media influencer, and model, as well as Sisha Davids, entrepreneur, model and influencer. Unfortunately, due to a personal emergency, Carol Lally is no longer able to join us, but we do, of course, have our resident beauty expert, Nokbonga Tusi, the S Mag beauty editor. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Before we get started, I'd just like to highlight that for the purposes of the topics that we'll be discussing today, when we refer to Afro hair, that is when we refer to Afro hair, it's natural hair that has not been chemically treated. And when we refer to relaxed hair, it's natural hair that has been chemically treated. So should any of our speakers today refer to natural hair, it's due to the current common reference that people are using. However, when referring to natural hair, it's hair that has not been chemically treated. Okay, great. Straight into it then. Hansen, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
What are the must-dos when it comes to maintaining hair and making it grow? And what are the key products that you recommend?
Okay. Thank you, Themba, and good evening to everyone that's watching. When we did our research, it has shown us that there are three main concerns that the consumers have expressed about their hair: is the scalp irritation and also the hair breakage. Meaning, if you can go around now, ask a black woman in South Africa, what are your top three issues that you experience with your hair? The two concerns, that is your scalp irritation and your hair loss, your hair breakage, will be on top of that list, and it will be ranked very high. So before I go any further, to give you the actual solutions to this concern, what we found out is there should be a hair care routine that one has to follow for them to be able to avoid breakage and all the unnecessary issues that give one a bad headache. All right. So I thought today, before I get to that solution, we can just have a bit of education, leave it at the back of our minds about curly hair. Our hair grows in a coily spiral format, which means that as it grows, it creates twists and turns, from our follicle. And then on those areas that it has a curl on, it means now your cuticle layer, that is the layer that's protecting your most inner layer, which is a cortex, that cuticle layer in those points, it remains open. And then what happens there is your moisture, which is confined in your cortex, gets escaped from the cuticle, then which leads to hair getting drier and drier because of the loss of moisture. So hence we always say with African hair, with curly hair, you need to rapidly replenish the moisture back into your hair, because by virtue of the natural structure of the hair, you're constantly losing moisture. Hence, then I said, we need to make sure that we replenish the hair with moisture, so we can avoid dryness, because dryness leads to breakage, and so we need to make sure we address that. Okay, and looking at that, so you would use what would you use to make sure that you address that issue is mainly, as I said to you, you've got the routine that you have to follow. And the routine will mean that you need to be able to have products that are rinse-off treatments, products that are daily oil moisturizers, products that are leave-in conditioners, and also moisture-based styling products. So all those products will help you to minimize, the risk of having, bad hair day or your hair being not in a good state. Now, when I'm talking about wash, a consumer that doesn't wash their hair as often as it's supposed to be, they tend to run a risk of having that hair with left with product buildup. Okay, because every day people put products on their hair. So if you don't wash it as often, then that product sits on there, because for the mere fact that your hair shaft is very, very, very small, and depending on the amount of product that you apply on, only a particular amount can be absorbed by the hair. So the rest stays and coat the hair shaft. So if you don't shampoo or wash your hair regularly, then you are running a risk of product buildup. Similarly with your scalp, if you don't cleanse your scalp regularly, you also running a risk of having dryness on your scalp, or you have flakes, which is due to product buildup in most cases. So you need to definitely wash your hair every time, once a week, so that you can grow well as well. And also, you need to look at the treatment and moisturization of the hair. All right. What does that mean? As I explained, that our hair grows in a coil format. So, which means in that format, we keep on losing moisture, as I said, and then that moisture leads to dryness. Okay, and then the scalp and hair, excuse me, on the scalp it will lead to basically to dandruff and breakage. All right, which is very important to keep which is why I say it's very important to keep our hair and scalp lubricated all the time and moisturized. All right, I cannot preach this, less, moisturize, because we're losing hair, we're losing moisture and our natural ingredients on a very rapid basis because of as I said earlier on, because of the nature of our curl pattern on our hair. All right. And then we move on to styling, because yes, we always want to look great. Look at yourself with your hair there, what we need to do on a daily basis, on the day where we're styling our hair, for instance, if you want to braid, or you want to weave your hair, or you want to do cornrows, okay? It is most, because those are the most popular styles that we do every day, or we see every day, basically. And, it depends, again, are we using the correct product to maintain those hairstyles, So what I suggest is, every time you need to make sure that when you take out our braids, because basically when you do your braidings, you are literally engaging that hair in a friction of some sort, because you'll braid and you'll use an extension, or yes, when you use a braid using extension. So you're basically running a risk of cutting your hair shaft with the extension or with the braid. All right. So it's important that when you do that, you must also make sure that you have a product that will help you to soothe. To make sure the hair it's soothed. It doesn't necessarily get cut by the braid as you work along. And then also the next thing, again, during styling, it's important that you have a product that you apply that will be a heat protector. Because you can run a risk of having whilst doing your blow dry, at home, or whilst you ironing your hair, so you need to have a product that will basically protect you from that direct heat. And yeah, basically that's that for what I recommend as basically, the routine. And this routine, if I have to basically reiterate, the correct regime is to have. It comprises of 4 things, okay, which is you wash, you treat, you moisturize, and you style your hair. Okay, if you do all those things, those 4 things religiously, you are prone to have healthy, good-looking hair, because you are addressing the fundamentals of making sure that you have your hair in a good condition. All right.
Yeah.
Now, you said I must talk about products as well that needs to be used for all these elements that I've mentioned. Okay, if you are a client that relaxes the hair, all right, you would have to wash your hair once a week with a 3-in-1 Dark and Lovely 3-in-1 shampoo. If people don't know, this is your Dark and Lovely 3-in-1 shampoo. It's just for cleansing your hair. And then for treating your hair, you have to use your cholesterol. Okay. Excuse me, I hope you can see. All right. Yep. So the cholesterol is an intensive treatment that will leave your hair supple, and it strengthens your hair, and it prevents it from getting split ends. All right. Now let's move to. Sorry, I just have to take some water.
Go ahead. At least I did warn everyone that we've got top experts, and you are definitely proving Sowetan gold.
And we move to moisturization on a daily basis, because every single day when you either have your natural hair or relaxed hair, you have to moisture the hair. Bear in mind, I spoke about, the main key problem that we're facing is losing moisture every single day. So that's why we have to replenish moisture as much as possible, as much as we can. So for moisturizer, I would say you can choose any of the Dark and Lovely moisturizers that suits your need. And we've got about 4 Dark and Lovely different moisturizers. I can show you the few. This is an olive oil moisturizer, and we've got our star product there under oil moisturizers, which is Total Repair 5. Total Repair 5, and then Total Repair 5 has 5 issues that you have on a problem that it takes care of. So as I said, for moisturization, everybody will choose whatever moisturizer from Dark and Lovely for their needs of their hair. And then lastly, I spoke about the styling. Styling, I said, before you style, if you're doing any heat styling, you must make sure that you protect that hair. And we've got a product for blow drying that we use for blow drying at Dark and Lovely, and it's called where is it now? It's a moisture seal styling mist. Okay, so moisture seal will help retain the moisture. It's a leave-in styling mist. You leave it on, you don't wash it off, and then you can continue. Then after spraying on, you can continue to blow dry or do your heat styling on it. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just quickly cover then the Afro consumer, okay, which also has pretty much the same regimen to use, but the difference will be the products that they use, okay. And then for an Afro consumer, they'll have to wash their hair with a clarifying shampoo once a week. All right. In our case, we've got Au Natural, okay, a replenishing moisture shampoo. They'll use this because it will cleanse and also make sure that you leave your hair squeaky clean when you have product build up on the hair. All right. And also, they will have to also use a deep nourishing mask, okay, from Au Natural. Let me check if I've got it here. Yes. There we go. Okay. This will be your treatment. Okay. It serves as a treatment as well. So you apply this on your hair once a week as well. So you basically nourishing your hair and moisturizing at the same time. All right. And then for styling, we've got an excellent styler. It's called platin pudding for all those people that do, your braids and as I said, your cornrows. This will help as well as I mentioned earlier on that, the platin pudding will help you to ease the friction that would be born out of braiding your hair. So basically, that's what I would say.
Interject a little bit.
It's fine. That's the perfect time because that's my
make sure that we give the ladies okay.
You're correct. That was my last comment on the question.
I just want to give the other speakers a chance. And Sisha, I'm going to come over to you. Okay. Sisha, I'm also going to come to you. You have the misconceptions that women have about natural Afro hair.
I think the biggest one, especially with people that I engage with regularly about how I take care of my hair, they think that this Afro hair journey is complicated and it requires a lot of work and there's so many things that you have to do. I think in the beginning it can be that way while you're still figuring things out. But once you better down what works for you, it's really as simple as, like Hanson said, understanding your wash day routine, that is treating your hair, then hydrating it and making sure you're exposing your hair to the right products, and then sleeping with the right things so that you don't wake up in the morning and your hair is super dry. Honestly, most of the time when I wake up, I just do this. And
that's what everyone with a great Afro says.
But that is honestly the truth of the matter. It's honestly about really understanding what are the things that work for my hair, what routine actually gives me the maximum benefit and will last me the whole week. So I try to keep it as simple as possible in the week. I don't overexpose myself to too many products at one time. Mm-hmm. And I just keep it simple so I don't make doing my hair a chore.
Perfect.
That's what it is.
If I can just come to you, you always in the know. So I just want to find out, in your opinion, what are the upcoming key hair care trends and styles that we should be looking at?
I think right now, in terms of trends, trends before have always been more or less a suggestion because A trend is something you see on the runway or on TV, and you try and replicate it and emulate it as best as you can, but they've always seemed very unattainable. And I think what I've seen a lot on runways, on Instagram, just around, especially in the climate that we're in, being in a pandemic, being in lockdown, that the hair trends and styles are becoming more simple. They're becoming definitely looks that look like, even if it's on a model, it looks like the model did it herself. You know, it's very simple, simple and easy. You know, a lot of head scarfing is in, and I really love the fact that a lot of braiding is in across the board. You know, like Snoopy, if I can say, I don't know how to explain it, but cornrows, normal cornrows that you'd have like under your wig, that was just like a hairstyle that was just to get to your actual hairstyle, is now the actual hairstyle. So I've seen a lot of like really beautiful cornrows that have come up, embellished cornrows, just really beautiful, like simple braiding and plaits that are really becoming elevated. So I think that's really nice and really easy for any woman to recreate at home. And just to, you know, like I really love the look of having a woman with like just normal simple cornrows, and then she's wearing like a beautiful evening dress. So it's really giving normal styles, simple styles, a really great platform to live on. So with braiding as well, you know, we have box braids as well. That is always quite popular, but the braids are not as perfect anymore. They're a bit undone. You know, I love the passion braids, boho braids that are kind of braided all the like halfway and then just left loose. So it gives a really easy feel to hair. I mean, afros as well. Rocking your natural hair is something that, you know, has lots of women are embracing every single day. So natural hair styling, you know, like little hair puffs, you know, little tails is quite a big trend as well. And just,
let me guess, you also like see her just wake up and kind of puff, and that's how you come out looking like this.
Not exactly. Like, I'm so envious of Sitha's hair. I'm just like, wow, that hair looks amazing. But there is a bit of this, but it's a lot of like, there is a bit of begging and pleading with my hair sometimes, because I feel like my hair has a personality. We have a relationship. We're in a relationship long term. So I feel like, you know, there is that as well. But as Sitha said and as Hansen said, you know, it's not difficult to manage, you know, natural hair or Afro hair. It's definitely knowing what your hair is. And honestly, once you know exactly what your hair needs, a lot of moisture, a lot of care, and a lot of attention, because the misconception is that our hair is really strong, but it's really fragile. So you have to treat it with the utmost care. And once you stop dismissing your hair as, oh, it's too much work, it's too high maintenance, that's when the love affair starts with your hair. And that's when you can start creating the magic.
Speaking of magic,
exactly.
Minky, I'm going to bring you in with a bang here, and I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to do a bit of a demonstration first, so that we can get a little bit of, you know, practical tips from you in terms of how you manage your hair. And maybe whilst you're doing the demo for us, if you can maybe also just talk us through what some of your favorite up and go hairstyle, you know, what is your favorite up and go hairstyle?
Okay, so I'm going to be doing a hairstyle that I do pretty much every day, because I'm quite boring. But especially now, because it's obviously been so hot in South Africa. It has been so hot. I like to keep my hair, you know, like out of my face. So it's very simple. This is, as I said, the hairstyle that I do on most days. It's just a simple, you know, top knot. So these are, I usually go in with 2 products. Okay, so the first thing that I would go in with is a moisturizer. So depending on if my hair is behaving or not, depending on the moisture level that it needs, I would either use the ultralight, the spray oil moisturizer. I don't know if you can that. That's if my hair is okay. And then if it does need a little bit more moisture, something a little thicker, then I use the Total Repair 5, which is one of my absolute faves. So I'm just going to quickly go in with the spray, because my hair is a little bit greasy. I'm due for a wash one of these days. So I just quickly spray my hair right through. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Beautiful.
Just like that.
And whilst you're doing that,
yes.
I don't know if you can just maybe whilst you're doing that, just quickly talk us through what some of the common relaxing mistakes women make and maybe some that you've made yourself.
So one of the common misconceptions about relaxing your hair and having relaxed hair is that if you relax your hair, then it's not going to grow anymore. And that's really not true. It depends on how you take care of your hair. As Nox was saying, you know, our hair is quite fragile. So when you put it through a relaxer process, it does, you know, take a little bit of a beating, but how you take care of it after the fact, that's the most important. So a lot of moisture is really important. Sorry, I'm just gonna go in with my first hair tie.
Go ahead.
As you guys can see, my hair is up. I have it in a knot, so I'm gonna tie my first pony. Yes, so lots of moisture. Also keeping the hair clean is really important, because if it builds up, if a product builds up in my hair in particular, I'll speak about my hair in particular, I noticed that it just causes all kinds of problems. So keeping my hair clean so that whatever product I use to moisturize can really like absorb into the hair as well. That's one thing that I have noticed really helps. And then also deep conditioning it. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to roll my hair, you know, over itself. So now I've got like a cute little bun. And then I'm going to go in with a second hair tie and then just go over it like that. And so that is my top knot. And then to finish it off, I go in with the extra hold styling gel. This is probably one of my favorite gels on the market, because it really does hold. They're not joking when they say 48 hours. It really does hold for that long. Then I just use a toothbrush and then lay my edges. So just like that, really simple. It's so quick. It's so simple, and it always looks very sleek and very put together, but it took you like 3 minutes to get it done. So that is my everyday hair.
Perfect. We absolutely love it. And Sihla, you know, obviously, we can't go without a demo from you as well. So I don't know if you also just want to show us what you've got prepared for us. And whilst doing that, if maybe you can talk us through what the biggest tip is for managing hair is for you.
Okay, so I'm going to do, I want to say simple, but it's one of my favorite go-to looks, and it doesn't require a lot of work. It's basically just a flat twist that I'm going to use a few pins to kind of give it a bit of a vibe. So I think for me, what is super important, just generally, and Hanson spoke about that, is making sure that my hair is cleansed regularly. My hair is so much easier to maneuver when it's clean. And not forgetting the impact that water can have in making your detangling process a little bit easier. But when I don't, I'm not always exposing my hair to water. Sometimes I'll even use something like the knot out, just to help free up my coils a little bit. Then I'll go in. So I'm just separating my hair a little bit here. As I said earlier on, natural hair doesn't have to be, well, Afro hair doesn't have to be super complicated. It's basically what you make of it. So yeah, I'll go in with either something to kind of detangle my hair, which is the knot out, and then I'll apply a bit of product on my hair. So I'm using the Easy Styler to soften my hair and also kind of smoothen any kind of fuzziness that my hair might have kind of picked up over the week.
Okay, so just whilst you're doing that, I just wanted to tell the people at home who have joined us tonight that obviously we wouldn't leave you without a great prize at stake. So all you have to do tonight is in our live chat, you just need to tell us what DIY tip got you through lockdown. It's literally as simple as that. And the prize is the amazing Go Strong launch kit valued at 1,000 rands and an all natural hamper valued at 739 rands. So tell us what DIY tip got you through lockdown, and you stand a chance to win that amazing prize. Okay, but sorry, Sihla, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going in with my flat twist here. And this is basically just a twist that's lying down. This is the best way I can describe it. And then all I do is I pin it. And I think this is also kind of speaks to the myths around natural hair being super difficult. It's like, I'm going to be done in 5 minutes. So I'm taking a hair tie. Please don't mind this date. It's been through life, but it's very faithful to me. I'm just adding this for a bit of an effect. And you can also use like a stocking, something kind of that will glide through your hair.
Yeah.
And then my hair is feeling like it needs a bit of love, so I'm still going to put a bit of this easy styler on the rest of my hair. Just going to give my hair a bit of a vibe and really reinvigorate some of my coils. And it's important for me, but not for everybody. I think it's important to note that your natural hair journey or your Afro hair journey is your own. You don't always have to swoop your edges, but I'm going to do it today.
Go ahead.
My edges.
So whilst you smooth your edges, I just want to go to a question that's come from the audience. So continue with your smoothing the edges. Hanson, we've got a question for you from one of the people that have joined us tonight. And they've asked, is it true that having one generic shampoo is all I need for all my hair, needs?
No. As a matter of fact, you need to have two types of shampoo in your cabinet, both for relaxed hair or if you are also keeping your hair in an Afro type style. For relaxed hair, a person should always have a neutralizing shampoo after a relaxer, which is very important when you're rinsing out the relaxer, because what it does is it basically stops the chemical action. So you are stopping the risk of over processing that hair. So you definitely have to use a neutralizing shampoo every single time when you have rinse out. I mean, when you are relaxing and just after you've rinsed out your hair. And for excuse me. And therefore, it is. That's one shampoo. And then the next shampoo would be a 3-in-1 shampoo. Okay, Dark and Lovely 3-in-1. I showed you guys earlier on. A 3-in-1 shampoo.
I love it. It's my absolute favorite.
And also we can see your final look.
It's an amazing shampoo. I mean, it gives you about three benefits. It cleanses, it detangles, and also it replenishes moisture back into your hair. So it's the shampoo that you lose every second week when you wash your hair. All right. Neutralizing shampoos are best for neutralization, but you shouldn't use that you shouldn't use that to just cleanse your hair for preparing of a treatment, or if you want to wash and style. Neutralizing shampoo is a no-go. It's a no-go. Area after you've used it for relaxer. Why I'm saying so? Because it could tend to dry up your hair if you're using it just as a shampoo to wash your hair or to cleanse it. It might lead to hair dryness, which at the end of the day, hair dryness leads to breakage, as we all know. All right. And for excuse me. And then for Afro hairstyles or Afro hair consumer, they also need to have minimum two shampoos in their cabinet, which is a clarifying shampoo and also a clarifying shampoo that deeply cleanses your hair and scalp. And also they must have a product we call from Au Natural. It's called a Wonder Wash, which is a replenishing shampoo as well. Wonder Wash would basically sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, okay.
I've got the Wonder Wash.
You've got the Wonder Wash. Great stuff. So Wonder Wash is a clarifying shampoo as well, which one can use once a month. Okay. And then also for more frequent uses, a consumer then would have to use a more gentle shampoo, which is a Au Natural Dream Clean, which is a 3-in-1 cleansing conditioner. All right. Oh, I thought you were going to show me one there again. So
sorry.
Okay, you've got 3-in-1. Okay, that's your.
I actually showed you the wrong one earlier on. Sorry.
Okay, that's your cleansing conditioner. All right, which will help to basically detangle. It will cleanse your hair, detangles, and then it will treat your Afro in the same time. Yes. So just to re-emphasize, you don't have to just have one shampoo. Minimum 2 shampoos, because all shampoos have their different needs that they satisfy.
Can I take Hanson's explanation and just apply it to what I've done?
Perfect. Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for sweeping my edges, I've used the Curl Power jelly gel. And I'm not a person who enjoys sleeping with gel on my hair. So what I'll normally do is, if I don't have a lot of time the night of, I'll use my 3-in-1 Au Natural, which is also what I normally dub a co-wash, which is this one. And then when I feel like, okay, no, I've exposed my hair to a lot of gel, I'll cleanse my hair with this deep cleanser, because I find that when I use this, there's a lot more foam and my hair feels super squeaky clean. And when I'm using the 3-in-1, it's more of okay, I just need to refresh my hair. It hasn't been through a lot of stuff. So I use this to prevent product buildup and this to kind of refresh and clean my hair. Yeah. So different occasions, different cleansers.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Knox, if we can come back to you. So something that I've noticed for myself, around my friends, my family, is that more and more people are opting for natural ingredients in the hair care products. Why is that?
Well, the thing with having natural ingredients, it goes back to that whole thing of people just wanting to have the least amount of chemicals and toxins in the beauty products and hair products that they use. So in terms of natural ingredients, it's easier to know what is in your product and what has been left out of the product. And the nice thing about brands is that they are very open and transparent in terms of, what has been left out, in terms of like no petroleum or no parabens or anything like that, or sulfates. So all of that really helps with keeping up with the hair health. And a thing about our hair is that it really, because it is so fragile, as I said before, it does need the utmost care and very like a gentle handling. So natural products are probably like the safest, the cleanest, the most natural to and closest to your hair structure and the oils in your hair as possible. So like ingredients like coconut oil are amazing for just boosting moisture and hydration naturally in your hair. Things like olive oil, aloe, so jojoba oil, and shea butter as well are really great at locking in moisture and really coating the shaft so that all that moisture stays in, because our hair needs moisture. So you need to boost the moisture, but also lock it in as well. And those types of natural hair products are very good and effective in doing just that for our hair, whilst also not compromising the health of your hair with, over like having too many chemicals or too many toxins in the product. So if you are looking for any hair care products, it's best to look for natural hair care products and some of those ingredients that I just mentioned to be able to get the best results out of your hair, because you'll see the difference between using a product that isn't natural and a product that is natural, how your hair definitely responds to that.
Perfect. Sihle, if we can just quickly come back to you. What are some of the tips that have helped you retain the length of your natural hair and minimize breakage? And afterwards, Minky, maybe if we can ask you the same.
So I think the number one is don't over manipulate your hair. Less is more. So as I said earlier on, like when I wake up in the morning, I just do this. I only detangle my hair when it's either wet or it's got some product in it, it's got a bit of slip. So those are the things that you need to be aware of, because you can't, in my opinion, you can't make your hair grow faster. You can really expose it to the right routines and the right things so that it has the best platform for it to grow. So less manipulation, detangling your hair while it's wet or with a product with slip. And I think, just maintaining a good routine. So cleansing regularly. If you find that your hair is dry, are you hydrating it and moisturizing it so that your hair is like really getting all that it needs so that it can really like weather the storm of its delicacy? Of it being
and
delicate.
Minky, if we can ask you the same, what's helped you retain the length of your hair and minimize breakage?
So one thing, I definitely agree with what Sihle was saying, is that you need to know your routine, and the simpler the better. For me, I'm not someone who is super, super, super pedantic about my hair, but I keep it very simple. I need to keep it clean. I need to keep it hydrated. I need to keep it moisturized, and you just leave the rest. Another thing is I try not to expose my hair to too much heat, especially because I do have relaxed hair. So I try my best to, I mean, straighteners are a no-go for me. And all of that. You can, if you use your heat protectant and whatever. But for me personally, on a day-to-day, I try not to use any heat on my hair. Protective styling also helps on my relaxed hair. So I'll have a period where I have my hair out like now, and then I'll have a period where my hair is protected. And then I just keep it, moisturized underneath a weave or a wig, or, anything like that. For relaxed hair also, what has helped me, I don't know if it, would, if it's the same for everyone, but for me, about once every 3 months, I actually do get a haircut. So I go to a professional and I do get, my ends trimmed and all of that. It's really not a lot, maybe like 2-3 centimeters, but that also really helps, the split ends. But I've been finding that I have to go less and less frequently over the past year, because I've started incorporating more of the ultra cholesterol conditioner into my routine. And I have a trick with that. I actually heat up castor oil, and then add it into my cholesterol, my ultra cholesterol from Dark and Lovely, and then I just use that as a hot oil treatment in my hair as well. So that's definitely made a massive difference for me as well.
Yeah. So I love that you mentioned about getting your hair trimmed, because so many of us, when we go to the salon, we don't even want a millimeter taken off. So I'm glad that I'm hoping that when people hear it from you, they're going to feel less apprehensive about getting that trim, because like you're saying, it actually does help with maintaining hair.
A lot. I got my cut last week. So now my next trim is going to be maybe in the next 3 or 4 months, but it makes a massive difference. But you also need to get someone who knows what they're doing, and someone who can identify where the split ends are, or where the damage is, and then just get rid of that little bit.
So speaking of hair loss, this is a different type of hair loss. Hanson, if I can ask you, we've got a question that's come through. Is it true that it's only people who don't look after their hair that suffer from hair loss? Hairline.
Now, unfortunately, that's not true. Basically, everybody is prone to have a level of hair breakage, depending on how people treat their hair. But we need to distinguish between hair loss and hair breakage, because there's a huge difference between the two. I'll start with the hair loss. Okay, a hair loss it's when your hair falls out of your root. Okay, and if that hair has been snipped out of your root, then that hair won't grow anymore. All right, and there are ways that excuse me, that you can avoid this. Firstly, let me just speak about what causes the hair loss. All right. It can be avoided, and the two things that causes hair loss is it's the mechanical application, or what you do on the hair, how you manipulate that hair mechanically, or physical. The other cause is naturally. Okay, let me go back to mechanically again. I know most of ladies would like to do, apply their weaves, wear their weaves, or attach some lace weaves on their hair. And unfortunately, the way they put that weave on their hair, it ultimately boils down to a point where when they take it off, they snip your hair off from the root. You find most ladies have an issue with the hairline, and that hairline, it's basically, we call it in the technical term, we call it in alopecia, receding hairline is called traction alopecia. That is caused by basically when you pulling your hair tight from your root, from your hairline, to a point that hair snaps from the root, as I said earlier on. And as I said, it's very important to avoid doing that when you're putting your braids on. Rather avoid to pull the hair very tight from the root. You would rather maybe section your first 10 centimeters, and then start braiding your hair on the next line that you've just basically sectioned. And your hairline can be taken care of like what Miki was showing us, to apply your styling gel on your baby hair or your hairline, and then you just wave it into place or brush it into place, and then it will still look nice and neat on your braids. But if you want to take that first line and then braid it to get the clean look, definitely you are running a risk of snapping that hair out from its root, and it will never grow back anymore. And I promise you, when somebody says I'll revive your hairline, if it has gone to that process of snipping off from the root, that person, you must make sure that you call the scorpions for him or her. All right. And then also I spoke about the natural way of developing hair loss that comes naturally by means of aging. When you're bald, because of age, you're gonna lose your hair. It's not gonna grow anymore. Yeah. Also, hormones plays a very important role as well. People lose their hair because of hormones, and to a great degree, medication, type of medication that you take, and also stress and illness. Then those form part of your natural loss of the hair.
Okay. Thank you for highlighting that, because, I think people tend to think that it's certain people who only suffer from injects, which, we're all very scared of. So I'm glad that you've mentioned that, especially with the traction alopecia, because I think, back in the day when we had less education around hair, a lot of us were pulling to get that, the look.
You want that clean look, yeah.
So I'm glad that you've mentioned the part about leaving a bit of hair so that you avoid the hair loss on the hairline. If I can come back, sorry, did you want to add something, Hanson?
No. I was saying absolutely, you're quite correct.
Perfect. Sihle, if I can ask you, what are the effects? Well, what effects are there when dyeing natural hair? Is that something that can be done?
It is something that can be done. I personally haven't done it. I know a few of the people that I know in the hair community that have. But basically exposing your hair to any kind of treatment, you are compromising your natural hair pattern. So personally, I would kind of stay away from it, or look for hair dyes from products or brands that provide an option for your natural hair. But generally, dyeing your hair, I would stay away. Just invest in maybe a hair wax, something that you can put in your hair temporarily, wash out, and like let go. And I feel like Afro hair, there's so much versatility that can be done with it. So you can put stuff in your hair to make it more interesting. But yes, I personally would just say stay away from the dye and heat. Yeah. They're the same WhatsApp group. They can do some serious damage if not done correctly.
And with regards to, we've got a question for you, Sihle, from the audience. With regards to a product, what product would you personally recommend for dry natural hair on a 7-year-old?
On a 7-year-old, so Dark and Lovely does have a kids range. I don't have children, so it's very interesting that question came to me. But what I really appreciate about the natural hair community and Afro hair products is that there's a lot more consideration, because obviously we're trying to expose our hair to less chemicals. So for the most part, I think that you can use the current products that are in the Au Natural range. I think 7 is kind of safe. But if you're trying to mitigate breakage and damage, gotta go in with your hair rescue mask. And you must mask your hair, like treat your hair after every wash. So depending on whatever your hair is going through, if your hair is breaking, then you probably need a protein treatment. If your hair is super dry, then you probably need a moisturizing treatment. And the Au Natural range and Dark and Lovely in general have different products to cater to those things. But really just pay attention to what's going on, because you might think that your child's hair is breaking, but it's actually just dry, and you just need to do a moisture treatment. So use a moisture treatment for that. Yeah. just look at the right product for the right treatment.
Yeah. And Hanson, I don't know, maybe you've got something to add there, being the expert.
You're on mute,
Sorry,
Hanson.
Hanson, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. What I was saying, I'm saying, Sihle, she's gunning for my job there. She was very articulate and really expressing that there's very few things that I can add there, to be quite honest.
Okay, and Minky, you've been nodding furiously on the side. With regards to relaxed hair, what do you want to add? I mean, in terms of what tips do you have around relaxing?
So one thing that I notice a lot of people do when they relax their hair is that they over process it. So relaxing too often, number one, is a no-go. And also when you do relax, it's important that you keep the relaxer on the new growth. I've seen people relaxing their hair, already relaxed hair, from root to tip. And I'm just like, no, don't do it. So over processing is something that is the leading cause of breakage with people with relaxed hair. And that's why I was saying earlier that, you know, a lot of people, they say, oh, you know, you've got relaxed hair, your hair isn't going to grow. But it's number one, how you're relaxing your hair, and also the aftercare after the fact.
Okay. And Knox, you play around with your hair quite a lot. You know, I'm loving the twinning bob with me today. But what's going to be your summer hairstyle? Have you had a thought about that?
Geez, do we have summer this year? Has it been cancelled? No, I'm joking. Usually my go-to for summer is braiding. Just for the simple fact that I don't necessarily want to, you know, you want to be on holiday. You want to kind of just have your hair protected and not really think about it. Also, not really have to comb it out every single day. So I always turn to braiding. I usually braid. I don't braid a lot. I braid literally once a year. The rest of the time, my hair is just plaited, just in cornrows if I'm wearing a wig or it's out in its natural state. But I usually really do love to turn to a protective style, just to protect my hair from any changing temperatures and any elements that, you know, I could be exposed to while I'm on holiday or, you know, traveling or anything like that. So yeah, that's usually my best hair care. I really do want to do like a passion braid. That very boho resort vibe is something that I've been thinking about doing, definitely. And maybe even the color, because as if you were saying, coloring your hair is not a thing, or dyeing your hair, but you can definitely play around with color in terms of braiding, or if you're wearing wigs, you know, just, you know, color your wig and your wig instead. So you can play around with color that is safer for your hair, and your hair doesn't necessarily have to go through that whole ordeal, and you can still have fun with your hair. So yeah, colored braids I think is what's on my mind right now.
And what color are you thinking? I mean, are you going quite bold, or you haven't thought that far?
I'm always drawn to purple. So purple is for me. I love a purple. Yes. I love a red. I'm still very, I'm not really brave for blonde yet. I don't know why, but the blondes, we might try. We're not sure. But blonde is like one that I haven't tried, but we might be brave enough this year to try it. But yeah, I usually turn to like a warmer tones, like a purple or a red. Pink as well, but yeah, also sitting there with blonde. So we'll see.
Okay, and so Hanson, one thing that I think a lot of people will probably want to know about is around deep conditioning, you know, and deep treating our hair. What can you share with us around that?
I'll also speak to both the relaxed hair and the Afro hair, which is your natural hair. Now, if you have a relaxed hair, all right, you need to use, we've got a special product for breakage. It's called a goodbye breakage, okay? This will be the product that you'll use after you've just relaxed, because what it will do is it will make sure that it goes to those spots that I was talking about, that, you know, excuse me, the points where you've lost moisture, and those are the weakest points, then that could lead to breakage. So what it will do then, it will improve the elasticity of your hair, leaving it soft, stronger, and more resilient. So GBB, as we call it, goodbye breakage, you'd need to use it immediately after relaxer and for treatment purposes in every week, every week when you want to reinforce, and as I said, when you want to make your hair to improve its elasticity and getting strong and resilient. And then every second week, because you're always treating the hair for the different needs. Every second week, cholesterol will be your number one. Cholesterol will make sure that it's an intensified treatment. You'd use this every 2 weeks. And what will you benefit out of cholesterol is it will make sure that it nourishes your hair and also helps to prevent with split ends. All right. And for an Afro hair client or consumer, okay, when they feel that they've got excessively dry hair, we recommend them to use an all natural. Where's my product now? All natural deep nourishing mask. Okay. This will help now, as I said, to soothe the hair, to make sure that it conditions the hair from within. Because if you apply a mask like this, you'll have to put it on your hair. Apply it on the hair, put a plastic cap, and then sit for about 10 minutes so that hair gets literally, absorbed by your scalp, and then it will feed the hair from within. All right. And after removing braids, I had Knox speaking about braids. And there's a couple of things that I want to share about braids before we even get to how you treat them. I always say I see people, which always pains my heart, clients that will go into have their braids done, and immediately after they take them off, they want to relax their hair. All right, and that hair has been in tremendous stress, which the braiding and keeping it in that tight format. So it needs to relax a bit. It needs to rest. So it's important that after you've relaxed your hair, you just have to give it a break, 2 weeks at the most, before you can apply the braids, vice versa. If you've had the relaxer, stay 2 weeks before you can apply, you can tie your hair in braids. Now, talking about how you then, the upkeep for Afro hair, we also, as I was saying, we also encourage that people should use the rescue repair, okay, because Afro hair consumers, they always like to do hairstyles. They wear their hair in different way, and it involves tying the hair up and doing all that. So it's best that every time when you undo that hairstyle, you need to treat your hair with the hair rescue or natural hair rescue intensive repair mask.
Great. Okay. I saw a lot of nodding happening when we're talking about the cholesterol product from both Minky and Sihle, actually. So I take it it's one of the favorites. But which, are your top 3 favorite products that you sway by? Maybe we can start with you, Sihle, and then come to you, Minky.
Okay, so I started off with the Dream Clean 3-in-1. I love this product so much because I'm a little bit scared of shampoos for cleansing my hair, because I often feel like my hair gets a bit of a shock. And I know it's important that you're giving your hair a fresh start, but this really makes my hair feel so soft. It smells amazing, and it's so great for detangling. So I highly, highly recommend this. And then my other favorite is this Easy Styler. So for those of you who feel like after a couple of days you've washed your hair, my hair needs a bit of love. So what I ordinarily will do is, if I don't have the patience to wet my hair, I'll just go in with the Easy Styler, and I'll use it to give my hair a bit of a shine, which is surprising because the product doesn't look like it will give you a shine, but it gives your hair a really nice shine. And then, I do what I want with it. So this one and the 3-in-1, my faves.
And you, Minky?
Okay, so the first thing, I don't have it with me right now, is the ultra cholesterol, the intensive treatment. I love it. It really is one of the best products. I use it as an actual conditioner. So every time I wash my hair, that is what I will use as a conditioner. And then the second thing is the Total Repair 5. This stuff is incredible. Okay, the one thing that I really like about this is the fact that it is super moisturizing, but it doesn't leave your hair feeling greasy. It doesn't leave your hair feeling, you know, sometimes when you use an oil moisturizer that's really, really thick, it leaves your hair feeling very weighed down, it leaves your hair feeling very like lifeless and just greasy. This doesn't do that at all. It's so good, and it absorbs into my hair really quickly. So this is one of the best for me. And the last one is what I have been using, the styling gel. The styling gel for me is one of the best styling gels on this one. I will say without a doubt, it's one of the best on the market, especially for our hair type, because you also don't have to set it. You know, you don't, if you're in a hurry, you just do what you need to do and you go. You don't need to set it or anything. And it's also really moisturizing. Styling gels, other styling gels that are on the market, I find because they don't have like aloe vera in it and moisturizing agents, they can sometimes actually like break and compromise your hairline. But because this one actually is moisture, it has moisture in it, it's got you know, your aloe veras and all of that in it, it keeps your hairline moisturized, but at the same time it still keeps it nice and sleek. So top 3 definitely.
Well, thank you. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for tonight. But we could have gone on for hours with the wealth of knowledge that we have on our panel. So thank you, Hanson. Thank you, Minky. Thank you, Sihle. And thank you to you, Knox. A big thank you also to our partners, Dark and Lovely. As one of the leading and trusted hair care brands, we're thrilled that you made tonight possible for a topic that is so near and dear to our hearts. As always, a big thank you to everyone who joined us. We're so lucky to have you, to have such a supportive and engaging audience. So thank you for that. Remember that our team will be in touch with the lucky winner. So keep your fingers crossed that you get to walk away with a fantastic hamper from Dark and Lovely. From myself, S Mag, and Sowetan family at large, good night, and we'll see you next time.